Only thing that's saving you is me and my predictions. Yeah. Oh, welcome, y'all. Y'all caught me in a moment. I was being a little shady. But yeah, welcome y'all, BTG Shade Squad, and all of our new viewers. We're here. Let me get a little clear. We are here to do our recap or my recap, I'm sorry, of the Beyond the Gates, season 1, episode 28. Okay. So yeah, y'all welcome. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button. And y'all, if you haven't, make sure you go ahead and subscribe as well. If you liking the vibes, okay? And I feel like this episode, we need to make it into a little game. So it is a Friday night. So hopefully I can get this out to you guys before it becomes Saturday. But, as you are getting into the weekend, happy Friday, by the way. We're going to start a little drinking game. Take a shot of water, shot of wine, do whatever. Anytime we have to talk about or the subject of the DEAD mother comes up, take a shot. Take a shot, okay? And but yeah, y'all, this should be a fun episode. But yeah, y'all, so let's get into it and let's get shady, okay? So we see that Nicole has learned that Joey's mom passed away last year. Have a sip. Okay. So Ted says that Armstrong's mother went through a nip tuck procedure and passed away on the table. Okay. The surgeon who performed it was so afraid of the repercussions of this and Joey being angry that he left town. Right. So that obviously worries Nicole even more. And, she's like, well, what the hell does he want with Vanessa? So she's upset that Ted hasn't, told her or didn't mention anything about this before. And so as she tries to call Vanessa, warn her, Vanessa's not answering her phone. And so she's like, you know what? I got to go down to the country club and, I got to save her. I got to save her because we know Nicole got to save everybody, right? Well, after she leaves, we see Ted and as he's having flashbacks to his conversations with Leslie, Sherry, Eva. I'm sorry, Leslie, Sherry, Dana, Anna, Thomas. Okay, or no, because it was Sherry Carter, Desi, Dana, Thomas. We ain't got time. We ain't got time. Y'all know who I'm talking about. All right, back at the country club or over at the country club, Diego approaches Vanessa about her meeting with Joey Armstrong. Diego warns her that if enough people are telling her the same thing, then maybe she should listen. So Vanessa blames it on Diego being jealous and tells him, you know what, that's not cute, okay? Especially because you're not my husband. All right. And so she asks him, like, don't you got somewhere to be, somebody to teach, And he lets her know that Haley has canceled her lesson, which she's obviously pleased to hear that she's finally getting a hit that nobody wants her around. Okay. So then Diego calls her out and he's like, well, that's crazy that you feel that way because aren't you the same person that sold them their house? I said, clock it, Diego, clock it, baby. And then he tries to cuddle up next to her, which I thought was so random. But then you know what he said? He was like, you know what? I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. Or I might be judging you as a person, but I'm not judging your cat. Okay. That still works for me. And so basically she's like, you know what? No, I'm too busy. And then yeah, she's like, nah, I'm too busy. And so he's like, fine, cool, you're lost. And then, of course, she runs off behind him with her thirsty ass. And I was just like, at this point, I mean, is Vanessa about to be the town whore? Like, do y'all think that once she's starts fooling around with Joey, she's going to stop messing with Diego? Or do we think that she's gonna have many men, many men? I don't know. Y'all drop down in the comments. Let me know. So yeah, then we see Haley. She runs into Derek of all people at Offrey Jeans, and I didn't even realize they were friends, but now I guess that would make sense, right? Because she was friends with Naomi. So she thanked him for, she read the news. She thanked him for saving the cat. And because apparently she's a cat lover, even though we ain't seen a cat not one time, but okay, she loves cats. So she brings up how I wish, no, normally or back in the day, I would have been on the group text and would have been congratulating you, but you know, ever since everything happened, he's like, "Oh yeah, since you married Naomi's daddy, Bill, yeah, no, we not friends. No, we're not friends, and we realized that you ain't loyal, so no, no, and we are, and so yeah, no, you're no longer a part of this. You don't go here, okay? You got expelled." And actually, my notes say Haley talks about how she understands, because that was just literally off the dome. But Haley talks about how she understands they all hate her now that she's married Bill and destroyed her best friend's family. So Derek tries to make it seem like, look, it's not like that, but it absolutely is, and we know that. So then she talks about how she's, feels like she's, living in Danny's world, and or they're all living in Danny's world rather. And then she's like, well, before she heads out, she's like, thank you so much for not making me feel so despised or less despised. And he tells her, look, I'll see you around. And she's like, no, we don't run in the same circles anymore. So I probably won't. And he's like, Haley, and I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Blatant. I would love to know your thoughts on this. But I was actually here for Derek. Derek said, find some new friends. Find some new friends that aren't a part of this friend group. Find your own friends. And I was here with that. Because part of the problem is you're wrong as hell, but you keep trying to infiltrate this friend group. I don't understand. Make it make sense, please. And first of all, I'm sorry, I forgot to say it at the top of the show. Forgot to make church announcements, but I wanted to say big shout out and thank you to I'm assuming you're one of our new subs, but I know she's been in the bushes. And so I just wanted to say thank you for dropping in the comments, purpose with a pen. So yeah, shout out to you. Thank you. Letting me know that you appreciate the daily recaps. Y'all don't know, sometimes I really be up here watching the show at like midnight and then recording. And I mean, for those who are up or be looking at the amount of hours it's been out when y'all get up and watch it. But I really be up here recording sometimes at like 2, 3 in the morning. So like I said, I appreciate all y'all, my BTG Shade Squad, and just my whole Shade Squad for the channel in general. I love the support because honestly, y'all give me the little, extra push that I need sometimes when I don't have the energy in me to get up here and do this for y'all. So I appreciate you. And yeah, so please keep dropping in the comments and keep going back and forth for me and debating these theories, because that's what we're here to do, right? And I appreciate all of y'all. Back to now, we're gonna go over to Bill, who was flipping out on Naomi, and he tells her that his hand was going numb. So she is getting ready to call an ambulance, and he's like, "No, I'm fine." And Naomi tells him that basically that I guess numbness or something, that's a heart attack symptom. I thought it was stroke, so I stand corrected, right? And so she questions if maybe the stress of the lawsuit and the case might be affecting his health. And he tells her, no, I'm good. And I just want to say that it's not a ploy to get you to drop the case. So I think it's so funny when I say things and then I watch the next episode and it's almost like I feel like, even though we know they've already recorded this, but I'm like, okay, so they already answered my question. Because I suggested that last episode. So he claims that he's not doing it for, sympathy or whatever. But I do think, do y'all think something's really going on with Bill and his health? Because I don't know. I still don't believe it. And I know, Blatant, you said I might be reaching. I think it was you, Blatant. But I know you said I might be reaching with the Bill thing, but I don't know. I don't know, y'all. So even after Bill, reassures her that he's okay, she's still concerned, but tells her dad, you know what? I want you to be in your best shape for when I beat you in court. And I said, I love me some Naomi. You better stand on business. Like you could tell the thought of something being wrong with her father or her losing her father really like trigger. It just made everything go out the window. And clearly her and Bill obviously were very close. And yeah, it's just but I don't know. It's just so unfortunate, I guess. It's so unfortunate because it's like how close can you really be if you sat and slept with one of what I consider to be one of my best friends? Like like I said, that's why I feel like Naomi really is the victim. And like out of everybody, Naomi really is the victim. Danny, yes, but Naomi really is the victim in this because poor baby. Not only do you lose a relationship with somebody you call your best friend, but you also lose the relationship with your dad because of it. Yeah. So Andre is at the hospital starting to shoot his documentary when Ashley arrives for her shift. Shanice and Ashley are at the nurse's station, prepping for their big film debut. Now, I will say this. I don't know. I think I've always felt this way, but for some reason, and maybe because she was dolled up because she was, getting in front of the camera. But she's a little irritating, but she is absolutely gorgeous. So shout out to her because I don't think they put her on this. So I don't know her name. I don't know the actress that plays her, but she is absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I don't know. It just for some reason that really stood out to me this episode. So we see Andre. He's interviewing all the nurses. Blah blah blah. And Shanice gets on camera and seems like she's starting to freeze. So Andre um ask her to basically, talk about a time or something like that, which ends up her leading her into the story about Ashley delivering the baby her first week. And of course it leads into Ashley being, the superhero, right? We jump over to Danny's house. She's on the phone with Jonathan, trying to find Chelsea's replacement for the charity fashion show. Chelsea and Kat come in to show off her first bag, which looks absolutely beautiful. I would have absolutely bought it if I could afford it, but it looked good. And she asks, for her mother's opinion, and Danny is honored and tells her, how proud she is of her. She lets her know that she needs to find she's currently trying to find her replacement for the fashion show. So Chelsea lets her know, look, I decided that I'm gonna do it. Don't want to put you in a pinch. As long as I can walk with my bag in the show. And she's like, this can be my finale. And so this makes Danny very happy to hear, but now she's questioning why the change of heart. And so finally, Chelsea lets her know, well, Haley told me that you broke into her and dad's house. And of course, I love Danny for being honest and being like, well, I just replaced a broken bottle of wine, but it's not like again, did she take any real accountability outside of saying, yeah, I did it? No. However, I can appreciate honesty, right? And then so she's like, so is that why you doing this? Because you think I'm unhinged? And so she's like, no, I really appreciate the advice you gave me the other day. And I'm basically gonna take you up on it. And so yeah, Danny's happy to, basically promote the charity as well as promote her daughter. And it was really cute. It was really cute. Haley brings Bill lunch and she's going on and on about how she's not accepted at the country club and nobody likes her. And we all know that. And she asked about, how things went with the ladies. And he said that he had the ladies at the palm in his hand, meaning his former employees. Um, and so Haley's like, well, why don't you let me go talk to him? And so he's like, I don't know about that. He's like, and you won't let me help you with getting into the country club. So maybe you should just chill out. And she's like, no, I just, I work here too and I need to protect my job. And so basically she wants to do her part in stopping it. And then conveniently she remembers that she forgot the biscuits from Off-Free Jeans and said it would be real convenient if she runs into her former colleagues while she's there. So Again, Haley meddling, and I guess that's just gonna be her role on this show. That's going to be her character, is meddling and stuff that ain't got nothing to do with her. And that's kind of how she got in the situation, meddling in a marriage that didn't have nothing to do with her. Nicole finds Vanessa at the country club. She wants to know more about. She's like, "Can you please tell me about this story that Joey gave you about his mother?" Okay. Vanessa's running it down like, look, I'm helping. His mother's elderly. She's having trouble walking, all the things. So finally, she breaks the news that Joey's mom died a year ago. Take a sip. Okay. And on the operating table, as we know, and Vanessa is in denial and feels like there has to be an explanation. This I ain't even go. I said this is when I completely lost respect for Vanessa. Okay. I completely lost respect for Vanessa. Right. So at first she's trying to call him and be like, and give her condolences. And that's when Nicole's like, no, babe, this happened a year ago. So then she's like, well, I need to see him right now because I need answers. And I was like, girl, okay. All you had to tell me, I already know you a sketchy character. And you done lied to me and told me that you were looking for houses for your mother. And that was the whole reason I was so enamored with you, because you cared so much about your mother and were willing to buy her a house to accommodate her, only to find out that this woman has been gone for a year and you've been playing in my face. There is no way. There is no way. We wouldn't have anything to talk about. However, okay, so Nicole warns her to be careful and tells her to text her once she's done speaking to Joey. And so basically Joey does show up and she's like, "Oh, so, how's your mom?" Da-da-da. And so Joey starts lying, and basically he realizes, he's like, "Oh, so and he wants to know, well, who told you?" And Vanessa, I can respect this about Vanessa. She didn't give her source. And she skips over that and asks him why she's shopping for homes for a dead woman. Cheers. All right. He tells Vanessa that his mother was vain and wanted the surgery, but it ended up costing her life. And so Vanessa tells him, look, I'm sorry for your loss, but it doesn't negate the fact that you told a big, whole, unnecessary ass lie. And the whole point is Joey clearly has money. He runs a casino. Why didn't, if he wanted Vanessa that badly, why didn't he just lead with, I'm looking for a secondary home, a vacation home, like a bigger home? I don't know, but like, why wouldn't he just lead with that? Why did he even need to lead with the unalive mama? That's how you know something's wrong with him. And that's scary. Who lies about something like that for no reason? Okay. I'm taking another drink. I did say unalive mama. All right. So um he basically says that he suffers from vanity and he doesn't want to accept the fact that he's getting older. So he tells her that the house is really for him. He sees that, he's aging and he wants to be ready for, his knees are getting bad, all that good stuff. So he just wants to be ready for it. So he tells her that he didn't want to basically reveal that to her because he feels like, oh, and he tells her how beautiful she is and ambitious, and he didn't want her to, I guess, look at him crazy. And he's like, but I understand if you don't want to work together anymore, but I do hope you forgive me. I can't. So then we get to see our girl Kat, because I feel like we've been at least 1 or 2 episodes without her. So hey Kat. Kat is helping her dad access his calendar because we know Ted clearly is not the best with technology. And that's why Kat is there. And so he talks about how he really doesn't know what he's gonna do without her. And she tells him that she'll make sure that she's gonna find the appropriate replacement. And I have to ask you guys, do you think that's going to end up being Eva? Because I do. I somehow, some way, and this is even a further stretch. And I know blatant. You can go ahead and tell me I'm breaching. I think it would be even crazier. But if I was writing the script, I would make it so because Nicole's so busy, there's no way Eva could take on the role of Ted's assistant as well. But you know who could? Anna, Sherry, Dana, Leslie. What you think? What you think? Am I reaching? Okay. Okay. I just thought about that. All right. So then Kat tells him about the progress that Chelsea has made after telling Danny. And she asks, oh, and then she's like, oh, well, where's mom? What is she doing? And he tells her that, basically Nicole is off saving the day, as we know, because she done ran to the country club to warn crazy, delusional Vanessa about Joey. So Chelsea goes by to see Bill. And she lets him know that Haley came to talk to her, which she did not appreciate. And Bill's like, look, I didn't send her. And she's like, good, because I'm happy to know that, because I really am feeling like it's an ambush. And so he's like, look, well, I'm glad you're here. Can we be father and daughter again? And I was like, well, that's a little fast, but I get it. He misses his daughter. He wishes he could have helped her. He talks about how much he's missed. He doesn't know what's going on with her. And then he's like, I really wish I could have helped you, with your purse line. And she's like, well, you messed up that opportunity to help. And so he's like, oh, so you basically, you about to be on your mother's side and you're going to be team Danny. And Chelsea reminds him, he told her mother that he loved her and then threw her away. So she questions who's next, her or Naomi. What did I tell y'all about these Dupree women? Okay. If I don't watch this show for any other reason, it's the Reeds. It's the Reeds. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. So he tries to tell her, like, basically, I'm your father. It's different than the love that I had for your mother at one point. And basically, my love for you is unconditional. But, Chelsea ain't really trying to hear that at this point. But it's good that at least she went to talk to him. But that's why I feel even more that there has to be some type of medical emergency or situation to bring the situation back together. So then Kat shares the news with her mother that Chelsea has agreed, because Nicole has come back to the house now. So Kat's telling her, like, oh, Chelsea agrees to help Danny, agreed to, still walk in the fashion show. So, says, and she's leaving. So she's like, oh, and by the way, good luck with your Delulu patient. So Nicole is like confused by that. And Ted explains that he told Kat that she has a patient that believes his dead mother, take a sip, is still alive. So Nicole lets him know that Vanessa is currently meeting with Joey. As we know, this has happened already. I already gave y'all that. And she's hopeful that, she ends the business relationship. We're going to get into that. So back at Garland Memorial Hospital, Shanice is, Derek is now on camera, and Shanice is commenting on how fine he is. And, Derek, to me, Derek could never be fine because he's awkward. And I realize that's what I don't like about Derek. He's awkward. And like, I don't know, and this is not trying to be funny. I don't know if the actor is like naturally awkward and that's what makes him good in that role, or if he's just that good of an actor that he's just awkward. But it comes across that like that all the time. Like even in his scenes with Ashley, sometimes he comes across awkward. That's literally the best word I can think of to describe it. Anyway, so Ashley has to remind her, you do know Derek is my man, okay? So step off. So then they talk about Derek running into the burning building to save the cat, and how Ashley had to nurse him back to health. And of course, at this point, I guess I skipped over the part where he calls Ashley in because Derek is awkward and he's not a good, he's not good on film, and it's just not working. So he calls Ashley up for support. And of course, because he just wants to look at her from behind the lens. So, and then, they talk about him saving the cat and how amazing, and her nursing him back to health and how amazing she is, right? Danny calls Bill to talk about Naomi. She tells him that she's concerned because he treats his firm like one of his children. She also, and he tells her, as no, she tells him, as strong as Naomi is, he's the person that can hurt her the most. And I don't know, from what we're starting to see, we can obviously see that she really, really, I mean, she values the relationship with her mother, but she absolutely values the relationship with her father. Uh, Especially because she's a lawyer and followed in his footsteps. So Naomi then walks into Offrey Jeans, and she sees Haley meeting Becky. Did we get into that? Did I tell y'all the Oh, did I? Oh, I am so sorry, y'all. I skipped over that completely. So Becky, um, which is one of Bill's old and one of Bill's old employees and Haley's old coworker. She meets up with her and she tells her that Bill has no idea that they're meeting, which we know was a lie. Haley tells her, look, I thought we were friends. And Becky reminds her, friends, you took the job that I trained for because you were screwing the boss. How does that work? So Haley does apologize and she tries to convince her that she's on her side. And at the end of the day, she's still a woman. And, she should accept the settlement and return to work so they can, as I said last recap, change the world and make it a better place for you and for me and our human race. This is when Naomi walks into Offrey Jeans and she sees Haley meeting with Becky. She comes over to interrupt and asks Haley what the hell she's doing. And, she's like, well, I ain't do nothing wrong. And, Haley's like, look, Becky, go home. Okay. Right now. You're not in trouble yet, but go home. So Becky scurries up and, leaves, and she sits down and with Haley. And so Naomi's like, I wonder how a judge will view a witness married to the company founder trying to coax another witness. Haley tells her it's not a crime to have a conversation. Then she brings up how she thinks that this is the fallout from Bill marrying her and it runs deeper than she thought. And she asks Naomi what she can do to make things whole. And Naomi tells her, if you want to help, stay the hell away. I think we can all agree. That's what Haley needs to do. She needs to go find some new friends, find her own friend circle, mind her business, and stop trying to push herself into Danny's world. It's weird, but I forgot who it was, and it might be. Please forgive me if I'm giving the wrong name. I think it might have been. Was it you, Elaine? Elaine Thompson, that said something about you think Haley could possibly be, and I may be wrong. So if I'm giving, like I said, if I'm giving the wrong subscriber name, I apologize. But again, I read all the comments, so I just don't remember who said it. But I kind of agree that I'm starting to believe Haley has some connection to this family. It's almost like an Eva situation, if that makes sense. Like they are obsessed with this family for whatever reason, and it's making me starting to make me think they have, just like Eva possibly has some ties to it. I'm starting to feel the same way about Haley, but I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. Now, Vanessa, back at the country club, she tells Joey that his mother's death, have a drink, okay, probably brought on premature thoughts of mortality. And then but then she goes on to say, but I don't know why you're worried about that because you're a zaddy. And I said, not Vanessa. Okay. I do like Vanessa. But she like everything. Vanessa like everything. So Vanessa tells him that he lied because he underestimated her and she doesn't care about how old he is. He hopes that they can move past it. She hopes that they can move past it as long as there's no more lies between them. And then he grabs her hand and promises, that he'll never lie to her again. And then, of course, we see conveniently that Diego walks by. And I was like, it's so funny that Diego's walking by, but not Doug. But at the end of the day, Doug, like she said, that is a marriage of we've been doing it for a while, but we don't like each other for real. So yeah, that was Friday's episode of Beyond the Gates. Thank you guys for being here with me. If you have not already, please make sure you hit that like button. Make sure that you guys comment. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell and make sure that you're following us on all the platforms. That's TikTok, IG, Facebook, and the Blue Sky. Also, stay tuned. We should hopefully, fingers crossed, things don't get too busy this weekend. We'll have Never Ever Mets. We'll have a live Sunday afternoon, I'm hoping, for the new season premiere. We have Power Sunday night. We also should have Love After Lockup, our recap coming at some point before Monday. And then, of course, as we go into the week, we got our Real Housewives of Atlanta and our 90 Day. So, yeah, we appreciate you supporting us and everything that we do, but especially this when I get up here and do it daily. So, I really do appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah, y'all have a good weekend. Be safe. Bye bye.